Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Real Estate Podcast. I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International. And today we have in studio with us Anu Ekunwe, A-N-U-E-K-U-N-W-E. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and if everyone wanted to follow you on Facebook or Instagram or email, what's your email address? What's your phone number? Just throw it out.
Sure.
Referrals across the country, right?
Email address is homeenforcer@gmail.com. Phone number is 602-628-6081. And you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn /HomeEnforcer.
Home Enforcer.
And that's two E's. HomeEnforcer.
That is awesome. Okay, that's gonna be a good place to start.
All
we're gonna
right.
hear your story. But I want to introduce you to the audience here a little bit. And Anu came into the office yesterday, and we were just started talking, and we were talking about his first year in real estate. So today's segment is going to be entitled "First Year in Real Estate, 12 Transactions, Next Year 50."
That's right.
That's
my
right.
goal.
And so Anu had told me about how we were talking about his first year in real estate, had 12 transactions this year, and your goal next year is 50. So I wanted to interview you.
Okay.
And have I have a bunch of questions for you.
All right.
That the audience, I think, will want to hear your answers. And then I want to talk a little bit about next year and just goal setting. At the time of this recording, it's December. It's kind of the end of the year, so it's a great time to think forward to next year and what you're going to do in 2020.
Correct.
So really appreciate you coming into
My pleasure.
the podcast.
My pleasure.
Here
Thanks
today.
for having me.
Well, okay, so tell me real quick, let's back up.
Okay.
Let's back up. How did you get into real estate? What was the impetus or the desire to get into real estate?
Okay, so there's a good reason and a not so altruistic reason.
Okay.
Prior to becoming a realtor, I was a lender.
Okay.
And I worked at a company called Axia Home Loans.
Okay.
And we were the in-house lender for Russ Lyon Sotheby's.
Okay.
And so I was posted to the Camelback Tower location.
Okay.
And I did a lot of things with the realtors. I did their open houses. Mm-hmm. I taught classes. I actually had a financing class approved for CE credit.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some times when I went on open houses and I thought, this guy does not know what he's talking about. But I couldn't say anything because that was in my role.
Right.
And there were sometimes I was like, oh, this person is a genius.
Right.
But for me, it was when I was doing an open house with an agent and she was like this the whole time, just hand on her chin, did not interact with clients. Mm-hmm. And I always look for common points with clients. The guy had a Dodge Charger outside. I drive a Dodge Charger. Right. So I said, hey, whose Charger is that? Let's go for a race, just breaking the ice.
Right.
They were in the house for 45 minutes. I talked to them the whole time, sold them the house, and the agent double-ended it.
Oh, wow.
And that was when I thought, maybe I'm in the wrong line.
Right.
And so that planted the seed.
Okay.
And that seed grew over time till when last year I said, you know what, it's time to do this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Okay, so you went to school. You got your real estate license.
Yes.
So you were licensed when?
October 2018.
October 2018. So
yes.
roughly, 13 months ago.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so before we kind of get in, I want to walk everyone through. You went to real estate school.
Yes.
What happened right after you graduated? What did you, what did you do in your first month, your second month, your third month? I want to unpack how you got your business rolling. But before that, I want to talk Home Enforcer. Let's talk about that name. Where did that come from? And it's unique. You will not forget it, right?
That's right. Okay. It comes from my lending background.
Okay.
So when I was a lender, I was the loan enforcer, and that was all about my car.
Okay.
So if I showed you a picture of my car, it had a police bar in front. I had it decked out. I had a wrap around it just so you would not miss my car anywhere in Phoenix.
Okay.
And every time I went to a closing, I'll take a picture with the car in the background.
Okay.
And before long, people started calling me, hey, can you enforce my loan?
Okay.
And so when I became a realtor, it was just a natural transition. I was like, I am not losing that enforcer brand.
Right.
Home enforcer, some people think it's negative. It's all about branding. It's all about what you do with it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how.
Great.
And it's all about my car.
So so you still have the car?
I still have the car.
You still have the car. That's
Yep.
great. Okay. All right. So hopefully we'll see that in some of the marketing, right?
Yeah. I'll send you pictures of it.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So how many years in lending prior to real estate?
3 years.
3 years.
Started with Wells Fargo as a call center rep.
Right.
And then 1 year at Axia.
Okay. Great. Okay. So let's talk about the first couple days after you got your license.
Okay.
So you're approved, you have your license. How did you begin? Like, was it business cards? Was it phone calls? Where did you start? And how did you get out there? Someone is listening who is just getting their license, or they're
Right.
getting ready to get their license. Maybe they've had their license for 3 years, but they feel like they need to put the pedal down.
Right.
So I want to just dig into 12 transactions in 12 months. That's great. That's a great result.
Thank you.
So what did you do? What did you do at the beginning?
I went on Facebook.
Okay.
And I said, hi, my name is Anu Ekunwe, and I'm a realtor.
Okay.
That was my status.
Okay.
And I left it up for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I got a bunch of comments underneath it.
Okay.
Well, one of my previous lender clients called me and said, hey, we're about to sell our house because the commute is killing me. I said, great, let me pass you back to your original realtor. And they're like, no, you said you were a realtor, right? I'm like, yeah, come sell our house. And that was my first deal, just from them seeing it on my social media where I said, hey, my name is Anu Ekunwe and I'm a realtor. I was doing the play off like, hi, my name is,
Right. I like it.
Right.
Okay. That's great. Okay. So business cards, you had to obviously
I did have
begin to get,
business
so what
cards.
were the basics? What did you do with the basics? You had to set up a Facebook page. What are some of those things? So walk us through all of that.
Okay. So my first 2 weeks were really busy admin wise.
Okay.
It was setting up my Facebook business page, which if you do it right, should take you maybe 2-3 days to really get it fine tuned.
Okay.
I ordered business cards.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't start with HomeSmart. I started with somewhere else. We won't name them.
Okay.
I ordered my open house signs,
Okay.
which I still have from that other company.
Right.
But I was setting the foundation for not just 1 year in real estate or 2 years in real estate, but 20, 30 years in real estate. I wanted to make sure that this was something that I went into retirement with.
Right.
So I didn't want to rush it.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure the foundation was strong.
Right. Okay. All right. So you had the basics, your
Yes.
Facebook business page.
Yes.
Do you still use both business and personal today on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
So how I use that is I'll post almost everything on my business page. And then from my business page, I'll share it to my personal page.
If it's personal.
If it's
okay.
business wise.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because on my business page, I think I have 200 people.
Right.
But on my friends list, I've got over 1,000.
Right.
So if I posted it on my personal page, fine. But by posting it on my business page and then sharing it, it keeps my tag on top. It says Anu Ekunwe Realtor shared this.
Okay.
So people are like, oh, and I still have people reaching out to me. I didn't know you were a realtor.
Right.
Well, there you go.
Okay. So, all right. Did you watch a YouTube video? How did you know how to build a business page, personal page?
University of YouTube.
Okay.
That's what I call it.
Okay.
YouTube University.
Right.
Everything is out there if you search for it.
And did you watch videos specific to real estate?
Yes.
Okay.
Specific to real estate.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So you have YouTube going. You have Instagram going.
Yes.
All right. So you got a call on your first listing appointment. You went, won your first listing. Take us through the marketing. How long was it till you joined HomeSmart?
2 weeks.
Okay.
So I joined the other company,
Right.
and I quickly realized everything they said to me during the interview was not true.
Okay.
And so I asked around,
Okay.
and someone, my mentor, she won't want me to mention her name,
Okay.
but I call her Action Lady.
Okay.
She told me, look into HomeSmart. It's a good organization. So I did.
Okay.
I was referred here, and so I joined.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So 2 weeks in, had you already had your listing? Did you have to transfer your listing?
I had to
into
transfer
that?
it, yes.
Okay. All right. But at that point, that was really the only transaction prior outside
Correct.
of HomeSmart.
Correct.
Okay. So 2 weeks in, you have your listing. Obviously, you need to market it.
Correct.
Sell it.
Yep.
What did you do?
So this listing, it couldn't have been worse for my first listing because it was all the way out in Vistancia.
Okay.
And it wasn't the active side of Vistancia, it was the residential side.
Right.
And the average time on market there was 90 days.
Okay. So for everyone who is not familiar with the area where Anu works, Estancia it's probably about 18 to 30 miles outside of town, right? And I'd say 30.
It's far.
30,
it's
okay,
out
30
there.
miles outside of town, from the center, of the real activity. And it's a quieter area.
Yes.
Probably maybe even have some. Does it have retirement?
So there are two sections. It's got a retirement part, which is super active, adult living.
Right.
And then it's got a secondary part, which is not that.
Right.
And so if the listing was in the active part, it would have sold quickly.
Gotcha.
Being so close to the active part,
Right.
Houses sat on market there.
Gotcha.
3 months on average.
All right. So average 90 days. Tell us, though, about what you did. How'd you sell it?
So I started researching who was buying in that area. And I wish I could take credit for that idea. Again, it was my mentor who told me, hey, just look at who's buying it. And most people who were buying in that part were from out of state. And I found that out through Closed, and I checked Monsoon, and I had my title rep, hey, can you send me this information?
Right.
So they were from out of state. So I ran some Facebook ads targeting California
Okay.
versus Phoenix.
Right.
Because most people in Phoenix didn't want to live there.
Right.
And I think it was my second week of running Facebook ads in California. We got a hit.
All right.
And we only it was on market 28 days.
Okay.
And we got 3 showings.
Great.
And all 3 were from out of state.
Okay. All right. So, again, watch a YouTube video to learn how to do the Facebook ads?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then probably just Googled how to run a Facebook ad for
YouTube.
real estate?
How to run a Facebook.
Okay.
Well, it was just how to run a Facebook ad.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I cannot. And then you could still target zip codes.
Right.
So I just targeted out of state.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And then how did you know which zip codes to target?
California.
Just from the data? From the data that you pulled?
Correct.
Okay.
And my title rep told me the 3 biggest cities feeding Phoenix, which would be Pinal County,
right,
California, and Chicago.
Okay.
So I said, okay, well,
all right,
it's an expensive house. I'm going to go to California.
Okay.
To them, it'll look inexpensive, and they paid cash.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit now.
Okay.
You've got, you had your one transaction under your belt.
Yes.
So what other marketing did you begin to do?
So that first transaction really launched my career. Because once that house closed, it was actually 2 transactions because we were selling and buying.
Okay.
So once those 2 closed, I marketed the heck out of it on Facebook.
Right.
I put closed, sold,
offer pending,
offer right,
pending, offer closed.
Exactly.
Okay.
And people also want to connect with the emotion behind buying a house or selling a house. So I didn't just put closed and put a picture up. Right. I wrote a story about it. My clients were having a hard time with their marriage because the commute was an hour and a half each way. Thankful to have been a part of helping them save their marriage, not just buy a house or sell a house, but work on their marriage. And that resonated with certain people.
Nice.
And I started getting personal messages. Hey, can I talk to you about buying this or selling this? And every week I made sure I marketed those 2 transactions.
So for the audience, if you've listened to previous podcasts, we've talked about doing stories in Facebook all the time because stories have a way of reaching out, grabbing the audience, connecting with the audience versus just, cutting and pasting text that you've written in the MLS and then you cut and paste it. You actually write a story.
Correct.
So kudos to you. I commend you for doing that.
Thank you.
Because that is what works on social media.
Right.
Is really telling a story about every transaction, every property, just about you, what you're doing. So stories, everyone. Keep doing the stories.
Stories.
Okay, good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so you marketed it like crazy.
Yep.
Your other transactions, where did they begin to come from?
I can tell you exactly where they came from. I did open houses. And that was another reason why I was happy to be part of HomeSmart, because HomeSmart has a lot of listings. And so I would go on the MLS, I would find houses within my neighborhood, and I'll just reach out and say, hey, can I please do your open house? I do XYZ to market the property. I try to sell the property, and I've gotten 2 deals from open houses.
Okay.
My sphere of influence, a lot of my friends, once they started seeing my posts online, they were like, oh, I thought you were a loan officer. Now you're a realtor. Okay, well, I'm almost ready to buy a house. So I found a CRM, less annoying CRM. That's the actual name.
Okay.
And so just put them in there and just follow up with them occasionally. And when they're ready, then, okay, I knew I'm ready. That brought me 6 transactions.
Okay.
From my circle, and then lender referrals. I had one random lender referral that I was not expecting, so it was a nice bonus. So those, and then of course my social media presence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So at the end of the year, the 12 transactions,
Yep.
How many were buyers? How many were sellers?
60-40 split.
60-40
So
split.
60% buyers,
Okay.
40% sellers.
Okay. And lenders. Okay. So what did you do did you do anything to cultivate those lender leads? Like, you'd been on the other side,
Correct.
so you knew what it was like to be the lender.
Yes.
Did you do anything special?
No.
Any tips or tricks for the audience is what
I
I'm
will.
searching
I
for.
will give tips and tricks. So the hardest part for me was, which lender do I choose? Because being a former lender, I had so many friends who were lenders, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna piss off a lot of people.
Right.
And at first, I tried to not even tried. I remained loyal to a group, a couple of them that I referred most of my clients to. But recently, I've started reevaluating that to say, okay, I understand I'm not asking you for anything, but what are you doing for me apart from closing my loans on time, which every lender should do? And so I sat with a couple and said, let's strategize. I can send you X number of transactions if you just ask for referrals for me. That's all I want. Don't feel obliged to send me anything that you're finding on your own, but ask my clients for referrals, because I'm asking them for referrals. If we have 2 people doing that, they might say, oh yeah, I know this person who's looking to buy or sell, and send that to me.
Right.
And so that's how I started working with lenders.
Okay. All right. So if you were to pinpoint your 2 or 3 most, your best marketing activities
Yes.
that you do on a very regular basis that drive the most business for you, what are they?
Open houses would be number 1.
Okay.
The second thing would be my Facebook marketing.
Okay.
And third, I don't really have a third, just it's all about talking to people. It's open. That's why I do a lot of open houses, because I'm out there. You see my signs. You get to talk to me in person. I think I have a good personality.
Right.
And then online, everything now is done online.
Right.
So
Right.
those are the top 2 things I do.
Great. Okay, so I want to back up for a moment.
Okay.
Mentor.
Yes.
You call her Action Lady.
I call her Action Lady.
How did you? I've heard from so many top agents that a mentor is key
Yes.
to their success, especially early on.
Correct.
That in the early years, and the more time you still spend with a lender or with a mentor, and that the more it pays dividends down the road.
Correct.
So, how did you find your mentor? Did you ask her, or did it just
I
come
did
up,
ask
or,
her.
Like,
So she is a realtor with another brokerage, and she is one of the smartest people I know, literally. And she's been a realtor for, I think, 20 years.
okay,
And she was doing things with social media before social media even became a thing. If you search luxury listings, her website comes up above Berkshire Hathaway, above Russ Lyon, because she's a genius.
Okay.
So when I became a realtor, I asked her, I said, hey, I know I'm your competition now, but do you mind just guiding me through 1 or 2 transactions? And she's like, I will help you throughout. Super kind of her. And so every challenge I had, I would call her, hey, how do I address this? And she's always asking me for her consultation check. I'm like, I can only pay my broker. So yes, I sought her out. I asked her. She was kind enough to say yes, and she's guided me throughout. She gives me ideas. She tells me certain things to do, certain things she did that worked, certain things she did that didn't work. But she doesn't force it down my throat.
Okay.
She gives me ideas and she tells me, find what works for you.
Right.
Because that's the one you'll do.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if you were to say the most impactful statement that she's given you, if there's one thing that really resonates with you, is it the statement you just made, or is it something different?
The most impactful statement she told me, well, we're both from Africa. I'm from Nigeria. She's from Ghana. Mm-hmm. And back home growing up, we didn't really have much. So she said the thing she told me that really stuck was, when you don't have resources, you become resourceful. So I was like, I like that. I'm gonna use that.
Right.
And so that's just been, okay, how else can I do X number of deals, or what else can I do today to be better than yesterday?
So speaking of resources then.
Yes.
Budget always is a thing for realtors.
Correct.
Everybody is always wanting you to buy this, buy that,
Yes.
spend money. And one of the things that I've seen is agents that are reactive, meaning that they don't have a budget, they don't even think about a budget, or they don't whatever. Sometimes they'll react to certain things and
Correct.
spend money, and they don't get as much return on investment.
Correct.
Maybe if they plan it out. So do you have, let's talk about your budget. How much money did you spend? Did you try to plan one out a little bit and at least plan finances or plan resources?
Right.
And then did you consciously also, I don't have resources, but I have time, so I'm going to do this. So
Correct.
Walk us through that whole resources, budget, marketing. How much money did you spend last year?
This year, too much. So yes, that's the biggest thing, is everyone is out there with this new shiny object, and this, get leads from here. Well, one thing I didn't do was buy Zillow leads. I will never do that. But I did fall into that, use this because it'll help you with 20 new deals. I'm like, that sounds great. Go for it. And I think I've spent so far this year.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Sure. I think maybe $8,000 in marketing.
Okay. All right.
And from that $8,000 that I actually spent, I'll say maybe I got 1 transaction out of it. So basically broke even.
Okay.
If I had taken that those same funds and used it elsewhere, now that I know what I'm doing a little bit more, I think I'll get more of a return. But just starting out, it's like you're just everywhere. Right. And everyone calls you. It's like they know you're a realtor now. Right. Oh, you need this beautiful website. Oh, let me call your leads for you. Oh, yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Okay. All right. So then let's fast forward.
Okay.
Let's get up to today. So next year, 50.
Yes.
That's the goal. So
that's the goal.
You got to be doing some things right now. Let's take us through. Let's talk about your last listing.
Okay.
And you told me a story this morning when you got here.
Yes.
That I was kind of like, wait a minute, time out. Save that. Save that for the podcast.
Okay.
So let's talk about your last listing.
Okay.
Most recent, even as of this morning.
Okay.
And how that came about. And tell that story you told me about 3 months ago.
Sure. Okay. So this morning, I was just thinking of a friend of mine. She just had a baby, and we've been friends for 16 years. And I was like, I know she's still renting. Yesterday, news came out that said now to afford a regular 2-bed, 2-bath, you have to be making $20 per hour. So I just reached out to her. I said, hey, how's the baby? How's your mom? Because her mom just came in from out of town. I said, by the way, 2020 is the year you're buying your house. Can I get an amen? She's like, okay, fine, amen. Now, the reason that came to me was I have a couple of clients under contract right now. They sent me some houses to check out for them. As I'm doing my research, I saw that one of the houses they sent me belonged to a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine. And she had gone through a divorce 3 months ago. And I talked to her all the time, but it just never clicked.
Right.
Wait a second. Life change. She might be looking to buy or sell. I was just being a friend. And so I called her and I said, hey, congratulations on listing your house, but how did that happen?
Right.
Where I completely missed it. And she told me what happened. And I determined then and there, I will never lose another friend deal ever. But how do I do that? It's about checking in. Mm-hmm. Remembering things that have happened to your friends that they share on social media. And, you know, seeing how you can, one, just stay in touch with them, but two, see if they are ready for something like that. So this morning, I was like, I am not losing this deal.
Right.
And I said, hey, next year is your year to buy a house. She's like, actually, I was just thinking that.
Right.
Boom.
Right.
Perfect. So that's how we connected this morning.
That's great.
And we started talking about what she's looking for. I'm going to send her some listings today. I'm sending her to my lender to get pre-approved.
Right.
Because her lease expires in January.
Right.
So
I think that almost every realtor has had that moment where they realize that a close family member or friend or something did a transaction or purchased or sold a home, and either they didn't come to mind or you know they missed out on that.
Right.
And I think that does cause you to stop, reflect.
Yeah.
You know, so kudos to you. Good job for that.
And if I may, if that happens, don't be angry at your friend.
Right.
It's not their fault.
Right.
Because when I saw my friend's listing, I was like, shame on me.
Right.
Not her. Like,
correct.
I must have not done something right.
Right.
And that's where you just reflect and say, okay, what could I have done?
Right.
And then do it.
Well, but the aha that you shared with me this morning that I want the audience to take away is you use the words life changes.
Correct.
And that on a regular basis, you are going to be aware of life changes in your sphere. Friends, family, neighbors, acquaintances, anybody that you that is in your sphere, in your reach, when they have life changes, that's the time to reach out.
Correct.
And as you said, reach out.
Yes.
And do it on a regular basis.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk database.
Okay.
Contacts, phone, any of that. What is, you mentioned a CRM?
Yes.
How do you manage your contacts when you see that life change that someone has? You know, how do you have this sphere and keep it growing and engaging?
Right.
You know, what are some secrets that you're doing there?
I use video a lot.
Okay.
Most people have heard of BombBomb. I don't use BombBomb. One, it's expensive. I use Dubb, D-U-B-B.
Okay.
That's just a little tidbit. It's less expensive than BombBomb, and it does the exact same thing. So I use them. They'll give you a free 7-day trial, so you can just check it out. And another secret, if you don't sign up immediately after your 7-day trial is up, they give you another one.
Okay.
And another one. So you can kind of stretch it out with part of that budgeting thing.
Okay.
I think it's $40 per month for their top tier.
Okay.
Versus BombBomb that starts at $50 for their bottom tier. So with video and CRM and my phone, anytime I get in touch with someone, I put them in my CRM.
Okay.
And I say, okay, this is who they are, where we met, what they're looking for, what they're trying to do, and time frame.
Okay.
I listen a lot. I listen very closely. If you tell me, yeah, my daughter is this, I'll ask you, what's your daughter's name? You tell me your daughter's name, it goes into my CRM. That way, when I have a conversation with you, it's more meaningful. Versus, yeah, how's your daughter? I can be like, hey, how's Ashley?
Right.
And how was her soccer game or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And every conversation we have, I document it.
Right.
And open houses, I do the same thing. I just put as many people as I can into my CRM. I don't drip them.
Right.
I don't do a drip campaign. I don't have that big a database right now where I can't pick up the phone and just call you.
Okay.
Or send you a video.
Right. Right. Well, and the non-drip is a little more personal,
Correct.
especially when you're reacting to something that you see on social media.
Correct.
Okay, so yesterday we had a little bit of an aha or an exchange because in some of the marketing classes, I talk about an idea that one of the realtors shared with me about getting people into their phone,
Correct.
the customer's phone,
Yes.
and getting their information into your phone.
Yes.
And using that as a primary entry point, then of which then you export into your CRM or make sure that the same data is in both places.
Right.
But that way you always have it in your phone because, you see that person now 2 months later at a Little League game and you can reach down to your phone and like, oh, daughter's name Ashley. Okay.
Precisely.
Perfect. And it's there in your phone. But we also talked about, sharing your own contact.
Yes.
Saving it in someone's phone. So talk a little bit about that yesterday when you and I had that exchange, the aha that you had.
So I came yesterday to pick up a couple of listing presentations, and I said, this is a nice office. I'm based out of the central office. And I said, let me just walk around. And I ran into Todd, and I told him, hey, Todd, I took one of your classes about 3 months ago. And he started walking me around the building, and he asked me for my business card. And that was an embarrassing moment because I didn't have it on me. And he said, okay, well, send me your contacts. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he showed me on his phone how he has his name, his phone number, his email, his website, everything about him. Oh, and realtor, real estate agent in Phoenix, and all these other titles saved under his contact. And whenever he meets someone, he just shares his contact with them. That was brilliant because I went home yesterday and I was like, oh, I can't curse on here, but I was like, holy shit, like that is genius. So I did it on my phone because most people don't remember who you are.
So let me take a minute and walk everybody through. And by the way, I'm currently not a realtor, and I do have real estate for sale, blah, blah, in my title. Hold on.
Okay.
The reason why I did that, though, is because when I'm training, I do have it, like I use it as an example when I'm talking with people.
Right.
But one of I was taught this by a top agent who said one day I spent 2 hours looking for someone's business card. And I just realized that if I could have put a search in like my phone just and said, like what I was looking for, like it would have come up on my phone.
Right.
And so he said, I realized at that point that every person I meet, as much as possible, I want to share my contact with them. And then I want to come around next to them and I actually want to save it on their phone so that even if they can't find my business card later, they can put in a search, homes for sale, Scottsdale, homes for sale, Estancia, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to come up. Or realtor, top agent, and all of that. So yesterday when I sent you my contact, I went into my phone, searched my name, Todd came up. I scrolled to the very bottom and it says share contact. So I shared it real quick via text and just gave you your mobile number and has my photo in it and everything. And then I came around next to you and I said, did you get it? And you pulled it up on your screen and then it says create new contact, scroll to the bottom. And I actually had him scroll to the bottom, click create new contact, and then I pressed done on your phone.
Correct.
Remember?
Yes.
And now it's saved, and I said, now I'm in your phone.
Correct.
You can always find me.
Yep.
So about 2 hours later, you send me yours. And great picture, by the way.
Thank you.
On your contact. It tells me a lot about you right there.
Thank you.
And I loved it. And then one thing I noticed was you had phone in your, but it was a text, and I said, and I rifled back, I said, can you change that real quick to mobile?
Correct.
Because when you change it to mobile, people know it's a mobile phone that they can text you versus your mobile. So if you're setting up your contact, make sure you have mobile, but fill everything out. And one of the other things is you can add extra fields.
Correct.
So you can fill in title, phonetic pronunciation of company, company name, all kinds of
or
things.
my name. My full name. It's pretty long. So.
Yeah, and you fill it in with as many things as possible.
Right.
So that works really well for
that was
all
perfect.
of you.
I did it as soon as I got home, and then as I saw it, just the benefit of it, it made so much sense.
Right.
Because now anyone who's like, give me a number, here are my contact details, and then make sure it's saved in their phones.
Right. So why I wanted to tell that, because I wanted to circle back, you were talking about Ashley and names of daughters and buyer in this area.
Correct.
And one of the other things that we did yesterday was we pulled up, your phone or my phone, and I put in the word like buyer.
Yep.
And then saw all the names that came up because as examples that I'm working with agents.
Right.
you should be putting those things into your phone. So putting the daughter's name, the wife's name, special days, anniversaries, things like that, even though they're in your CRM, also put them in your phone just so you have them. And there's that nice notes section that you can do where you can just, quickly say, this person is they currently live in this area. They're looking to move into this area. So they are both a seller and a buyer, and they're looking to buy in blank. Put that all in your phone.
Yeah, so even my friend this morning, even though she's been my friend for 16 years, I did that this morning.
Awesome.
After I got off the phone with her, I pulled up her contact details. Lives on Northern and I-17. Husband works on Bell and I-17. Daughter goes to school near them. Keep them within this range.
Right.
That way I can be like, okay, so Tolu goes to school here.
Right.
I found you this house.
Right.
That would,
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
I started doing that from yesterday after we talked.
Awesome. That's great. All right. Good secrets for everyone.
Right.
So let's take them through. Last thing here for today. Take them through a week.
Okay.
What does your week look like? Your work week.
Okay.
So, what was your last 40, 50, 60, whatever it is?
Right.
What was your work week like? What are your daily activities? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. So, sure. Sunday, I like keeping for family because I have a wife and a toddler. And one of the reasons I got into real estate was as a lender, I was working 80 hours per week and not even seeing my family. So I decided to take back my time. So Sundays I keep for church, family, friends. Fridays and Saturdays, you will always find me at an open house. Fridays I do my open houses from 12 to 3. Saturdays I do them from 12 to 4.
Okay.
But Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 is my call block time. So I'm calling people, trying to find some expireds to call. And I found that working from home, you have a tendency to be casual. So I got a headset so I could feel like I'm actually making a professional call versus just using my cell phone.
Right.
So 9 to 11, I try not to mess with that at all. After that, I have lunch. And then I will either record some videos or work on my website, do some social media postings. If I have any showings, go show those. But my work week is pretty scheduled. It's 9 to 11, call block.
Do you time block on your calendar?
I do.
Okay.
You cannot book me from 9 to 11.
Okay.
Unless I say, okay, fine, I'll do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh, and I use Calendly.
Okay.
It's free.
Calendly?
Yes.
Okay.
It's free so people can actually book time with you.
Okay.
If you don't want to talk to them, you can just send them a link. Say, hey, schedule some time with me. Let's talk.
Okay, so do you use Gmail?
I use Gmail.
Calendly links to Gmail?
Yes,
and
it
it's a
does.
service? Okay. So is that calendly.com?
Yes.
Can you spell that real quick?
CALENDLY.
Okay.
And it's free.
All right. We love that.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay, good. Okay, so any current listings right now?
No listings right now.
Okay.
I know I have 3 coming up in the first quarter.
Okay.
They're just waiting for the season to be over. The reason I set 50 as a goal is you have to know yourself, right? You have to know your personality. My personality is such that I will set a goal, and once I hit that goal, I'll take my foot off the gas. So when I set my goal for 12 and I hit 12, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And someone said, why don't you set 24 next year? I said, because I'll hit 24 and then take my foot off the gas.
Right.
But if I set my goal at 50 and I hit 24, I'm still going. Because every day there's stuff you can keep doing. And so just...
I love that goal setting mindset because I think that if you're a runner,
right.
I used to run when I was in high school, and like when you're trying to beat a time,
right,
you had to set your time way past, because no matter how hard you're pushing, it just seemed like you had to push it past it in order to hit the time you really wanted.
Correct.
And so I love that mindset.
Yeah, thank you.
So kudos to you.
Thank you.
So, all right. So do you text on Thursdays? Do you text?
I do
Do you
text.
block and time block time for texting? If you're
No.
using any of the text scripts, any of the, did you know about those?
No.
So for those HomeSmart agents that are listening, we have free text scripts that are available for all of you. So if I give you text scripts, will you use them for the next 12 weeks and then come back in and talk to everyone?
I sure will.
Okay. So we're going to do those text scripts. So the text scripts are uploaded inside of the Real Smart Agent panel,
Okay.
or they are uploaded in the marketing downloads area, or they are in the marketing design center. There's an area where you can download them there. So I will go back and confirm that they are available to everyone at HomeSmart, in those areas.
Okay.
But let's go download those,
Okay.
and then I'll talk to you. My challenge to you would be, if on Thursday afternoons, there's something about texting your customers on a Thursday, which keeps you busy on Friday, Saturday when you're doing your open houses.
Right.
So it drives traffic. Like even if you have a listing, you're texting the homeowners around the open house, or you're somehow trying to market to them, come by, see me, which can help generate new listings.
Right.
Or you bring your buyers in, to those open houses. So
Interesting.
So let's try.
Okay.
And I'll talk with you a little bit after the podcast, a little bit about it. But let's try doing some texting on Thursdays.
Okay.
From in the afternoon, maybe 1 to 3,
Okay.
or 3 to 5, or something like that. 12 weeks in a row.
Okay.
And see how that works. Do you have any current listings right now?
No.
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 Okay. All right. Let's see. What was the other question I was going to ask you? Like as far as marketing, like what's your current marketing push right now? It's the end of the year. Are you doing calendars? Are you doing holiday cards? Just notes, thank you notes, anything
notes.
like that?
Thank you notes. I'm coming up to the first closing I ever had, so I'm going to call him. Rewind.
Okay.
I stay in touch with everyone.
Okay.
All the time. And I know there's 4 touches. I call them just, hey, how's the house going? How are you doing? What's new and exciting? Just to make sure we're still in touch. But I make sure I call them on the anniversary, or I will call. So my first one is coming up.
Okay.
I don't send calendars.
Okay.
I don't send greeting cards. Not that I don't. I haven't. It's my first year, and I didn't even think of it.
Okay.
I was just like,
Okay.
they know me.
All right.
Yeah, but I didn't think of that.
All right. I think you should do some sort of a card if you have the budget,
Yeah.
with the enforcer photo of you in your car,
Right.
and wishing everybody a great next year. Like it could be a
Right.
Happy New Year type thing.
Right.
I
like that.
But I think the car and that type of thing. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We should do
And
that.
this is why I talk to everyone, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And I'm a solo agent.
Right.
I only have my ideas, and they're this tiny.
Right.
But if I talk to more people, I can get more ideas. Like, I never thought about doing that. So, yeah.
Well, let's try it, and then
try
let's
it.
bring you back in 12 weeks or
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Got one other final idea for you.
All right.
So there's something called an automated marketing calendar. So one of the agents in Rhode Island shared with me that what she does is she created a special calendar that she calls Special Days and Anniversaries. And every day when she's on Facebook and she sees people's birthdays, their anniversaries, she goes into her calendar, this new calendar she's created, and she creates a reoccurring appointment every year. And she wants to be notified a week before. And so what she does is she's building a calendar as the year goes on.
Right.
And then the next year comes around, and now she's got everybody's special days, anniversaries, everything. And then even 7 days before, she can reach out. Hey, I know it's your birthday next weekend. You're probably going to be celebrating with family and friends. You want to go have coffee on Monday, the beginning of the week? That type of thing, right?
That's great.
So just an idea.
Yeah.
Just I want to see if you try it. But I think, being that it's 2020, it's December, it's the new year. It's a perfect time for all of you in the audience to start right now, creating your calendar right now, so that next year is a better year.
Right.
And then you can also even put the anniversary dates of when you sold people homes, all of that. So now it shows up on your Google Calendar. So you go into your Gmail, it's down at the bottom, it says create an extra calendar, new calendar.
Yeah.
And then you can turn it on or off and,
Sure.
Does that sound like a good idea?
It sounds like a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that.
And she just uses it for everyone on her Facebook.
She uses
not just
it,
her clients.
Yes.
Nice.
She uses it for everything. She literally even, and I've also shared this with other agents, and so I might blend everybody together, but some agents use it for somebody's son graduates from high school. Somebody's son, and they actually have, so-and-so graduated from what high school they graduated from, where they're going to school next year. So they left for Stanford, in August. And so she's, they can reach out and say, hey, it was a year ago your son went away to, Stanford, your other one's graduating now too. You ready for the empty nest thing? You want to downsize? So it just it keeps everything top of mind.
Right.
I want to help you get to your 50.
Yeah.
So I don't want to throw too much at you, but I just thought, adding in the texting, adding in the calendar, because then you can also text people.
Right.
Be the first one to text them, a year later.
Right.
Or you text them, like if something happens and 3 months later, you're like, hey, I wanted to circle back with you.
Right.
How are things with your dad?
Right.
And because I think that's what real estate is so much about relationships.
It is. It really is.
And so,
it 100% is.
I might even, I'm expanding my mindset now. I learned from you today. You're talking life changes.
Right.
Why wouldn't I use that marketing calendar to go into the calendar and say a life change happened? My say something with a family member they're struggling with, they're in the hospital. Well, I would put that in the marketing calendar with a 3 months or 3 weeks from now.
Correct.
Put something on my calendar to loop back and ask how their family member is.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so now I'm expanding how it could be used based on your comment about life changes.
Thank you.
We all learn from each other.
We learn from the day you stop learning is the day you die.
Right. So I think that those are great ideas. So let's try that. But Anu, do you have anything else? I guess 12 transactions year one. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Anything to the listening audience that you would want to, a golden nugget, to leave them that we haven't already talked about to help them sell more real estate next year?
I would say the biggest thing I've had to learn this year was just be yourself. Don't try and be anyone else. Don't do what anyone else is doing just because they're doing it. You can do it if it works for you. But if you're trying something that's not your personality, it will show. And people will smell it a mile away. So just be yourself. It's not always going to be good days and it's not always going to be bad days.
Right.
But celebrate the successes. And that's my biggest thing is just have fun with it. I'm enjoying real estate, even the months where I had no closings. I'm like, all right, what can I do to make sure I don't have another zero?
Right.
But just be yourself. That's my own thing is don't try and be someone else or someone you're not. Just be you.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Anu, thank you for joining us today. So everyone, I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast, the Real Estate Podcast. And today's guest, Anu Ekunwe,
yes,
from HomeSmart in Phoenix. And reach out to him on Facebook, Instagram, other social media, and just LinkedIn.
Yep. Home Enforcer.
You got it. Home Enforcer. I like it. All right. So everyone, thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. We'll see you at future episodes. I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart. And thank you for joining us today on the Real Estate Podcast.
Thanks, Todd.
Like what you're hearing on the real estate? Tell your friends about us. Tell them to check out all of our episodes on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And don't forget to send any topics you want us to tackle to therealestate@homesmart.com.